All right, picture this. You're sifting through your pocket change, maybe about to grab a coffee, when you spot a 2009 Lincoln penny. You think, just another penny. But what if I told you that tiny copper coin could be worth $2 million? Yeah, you heard me right. $2 million. Now, before you dump that jar of pennies onto your kitchen table in a mad frenzy, stick with me. We're about to break down exactly what makes this little beauty so valuable, how to spot one, and how you might just have a retirement plan jingling in your couch cushions. So, let's set the stage. 2009 wasn't just any year for pennies. It marked the 200th birthday of good old Honest Abe, Abraham Lincoln. And to celebrate, the U.S. Mint decided to release 4 different designs on the reverse of the penny, each depicting a different stage of Lincoln's life. We got the birth and early childhood penny, showing a log cabin, the formative years penny, young Abe reading while taking a break from rail splitting, the professional life penny, Lincoln standing in front of the Illinois state capitol, the presidency penny, showing the half-finished U.S. Capitol building. Now, all of these pennies were cool, but the one we're after? The No Mint Mark 2009 penny with an extremely rare error that makes it worth life-changing money. Most 2009 pennies are worth, well, a penny. Maybe a couple of cents if they're in mint condition. But there's always a rare unicorn in the mix, and in this case, it's a particular No Mint Mark version with a striking error or special characteristic that sends collectors into a bidding war. Some 2009 pennies were struck with double dies or off-center errors, which can make them worth thousands. But the true jackpot comes from an ultra-rare variety with a significant misprint or striking issue that sets it apart. Some pennies were mistakenly struck on the wrong planchet, potentially using older copper alloys instead of zinc. This factory mistake means collectors will pay crazy amounts just to own one. The Holy Grail: if your penny has one of these rare errors and is in pristine condition, graded MS 68 or higher by PCGS or NGC, you're looking at a 7-figure payday. Now, don't start cashing out your 401k just yet. You'll need to verify your coin's authenticity before you start dreaming of yachts and beachfront properties. Let me tell you a little story. A few years back, I was at my grandma's house helping her clean out an old drawer when I found a dusty old coffee can filled with pennies. My first thought? Just a bunch of pennies. But then I remembered hearing about valuable coins, so I started sifting through them. I found a 2009 Lincoln penny in surprisingly good shape. My heart was racing. Could this be the one? Could I be sitting on a jackpot? I rushed to a local coin shop, dreams of riches filling my head. The guy behind the counter examined it under a magnifier, looked at me, and said, "Well, good news is, it's real. Bad news? It's worth about 25 cents. Yep, not quite the $1 million payday I was hoping for. But hey, it taught me a lesson. Not every rare penny is a winner, but it pays to check. So, how can you tell if your 2009 penny is the golden ticket? Check for doubling, missing details, or misaligned strikes. If your penny is heavier than usual, it might have been struck on an older copper planchet instead of the modern zinc one. If your penny looks fresh off the minting press, it could be worth more than you think. The best way to confirm if you've hit the jackpot is to have a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC take a look. Collectors are willing to pay big bucks for rare versions of this penny. While most 2009 Lincoln cents are common, the rare No Mint Mark versions with major errors have sold at auctions for up to $2 million. The demand is real, and if you have one, you're sitting on a treasure. That penny you were about to toss in a tip jar could be a life changer. The 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial Cent, especially the No Mint Mark variety with rare errors, is worth checking your change for. Go through your penny jars, check your couch cushions, even raid that old piggy bank from your childhood. You never know what you might find. And if you do hit the jackpot, remember who sent you on the hunt. If you love learning about hidden treasures in your pocket, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I've got plenty more tips on coins worth money, coin collecting strategies, and how to turn spare change into serious cash. Hit that like button, drop a comment if you think you've got a rare penny, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey folks, imagine this. You're digging through your pocket change, looking for a quarter for the parking meter, and BM, you find a penny that could be worth $1 million. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, for some lucky folks, this dream has turned into reality. Today, we're diving into the 1982 No Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a tiny copper treasure that has collectors going wild and banks scratching their heads. Now, before you dump out your piggy bank onto the table, stick with me because I'm going to tell you exactly what makes this little penny worth a fortune, how you can spot one, And of course, my own ridiculous experience of almost tossing away a coin worth way more than my first car. Back in 1982, the US Mint was going through a little identity crisis. They decided to switch from a copper composition to a zinc core with a thin copper coating. And in the middle of all that, a few pennies were minted without the all-important mint mark. That's right, no little P for Philadelphia, no D for Denver, and no S for San Francisco. Just good old Abe Lincoln staring back at you, clueless that he might be worth a fortune. Now, not every 1982 no-mint mark penny is worth $1,000,000. The real jackpot coin has to be in pristine condition, and the key is the weight. The valuable ones are the rare copper pennies, not the zinc ones. A genuine 1982 no-mint mark copper penny weighs 3.11 grams, while the zinc version is lighter at 2.5 grams. If you've got a kitchen scale lying around, it might be time to put it to good use. But here's where it gets interesting. People have actually found these bad boys in pocket change, at flea markets, even in old jars of coins passed down from grandparents. And the market value? Well, one of these beauties in top condition has sold for a jaw-dropping $1 million. That's $1 million for a penny. Try explaining that to your bank teller when you go to deposit it. Now, let me tell you about the time I almost made the biggest mistake of my life. A few years ago, I was at my uncle's house helping him clean out his garage. He had an old tin filled with pennies, mostly dusty, beat-up ones that looked like they had seen better days. I started flipping through them when I spotted a 1982 penny with no mint mark. My heart did a little tap dance, but I figured, nah, it's probably nothing special. I was about to toss it back and when my uncle, a lifelong collector, stopped me mid-throw. "Hold up," he said, "you better check the weight on that." Long story short, it was zinc, worth a few cents at best. But that moment taught me an important lesson. Always double-check your change. Because out there, hiding in plain sight, could be the $1 million penny that changes your life. Where do you even sell one of these if you find it? Well, high-end auction houses, private collectors, and even online marketplaces can be a goldmine if you play your cards right. But, word of advice, get it authenticated first. Nobody is going to drop $1 million on a penny without a professional giving it the stamp of approval. So, the next time you find a 1982 penny in your change, don't just toss it aside. Give it a second look, weigh it, and who knows, you might be sitting on $1 million treasure. And if you're like me, you'll start checking every single penny that comes your way, even if it means holding up the grocery store line. If you love hearing about hidden treasures and coins that could make you rich, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got more insider tips on valuable coins, coin collecting strategies, and the wild world of numismatics coming your way. You never know, your next big payday might just be sitting in your pocket right now. All right, folks, imagine this. You're at the grocery store, digging through your pocket for some change, and out comes a regular old penny. But what if I told you that penny could actually be worth over $1 million? Sounds like a dream, right? Well, today we're talking about the 1995 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, one of the rarest and most valuable pennies out there, currently worth a staggering $1.10 million. Now, before you go raiding your couch cushions, stick around because I'm going to break down exactly what makes this penny so valuable, how you can spot one, and some fun history behind it. Plus, I'll throw in a personal story about a time I thought I struck gold, only to learn a very humbling lesson. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. All right, let's dive into the details. The 1995 no-mint mark Lincoln penny was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which didn't put a mint mark on its coins at the time. But what makes this penny worth over $1 million? Two words, double die. A double die error happens when the die that strikes the coin is misaligned, creating a slight double image. It's like the coin had one too many at happy hour and is seeing double. The 1995 penny has one of the clearest double die errors, especially noticeable in the lettering Liberty and In God We Trust. If you take a close look with a magnifying glass, you might just see that slight doubling, and if you do, well, congratulations, you might be sitting on a fortune. Now, here's where it gets even better. While some of these pennies are worth a few hundred or even a few $1,000s, there are a select few in pristine condition, graded MS 68 or higher, that have fetched over $1.1 million at auctions. That's right, a single penny that could buy you a house, a luxury car, or enough fast food to last you a lifetime, or at least a very satisfying year. But let's get personal for a second. I remember the first time I thought I hit the jackpot. I was at a flea market, and this guy had a whole box of old coins. I saw a 1995 penny, my heart started racing, and I thought, this is it. Early retirement. Here I come. I bought it for $1, rushed home, grabbed my magnifying glass, and nothing. Just a regular penny. Turns out, I had let my excitement get the best of me. Lesson learned, always double-check with a professional before planning a luxury vacation. First, start by checking your spare change. You never know what might be hiding in your piggy bank or an old jar of coins. Second, get yourself a good magnifying glass or a coin microscope. Look closely at the lettering. If you see that doubling effect, you might have something special. Finally, if you think you've got a winner, take it to a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can confirm its authenticity and give it an official grade, which is crucial if you want to sell it for top dollar. Point 1. Pennies aren't always just pennies. 2. Keep an eye out for that 1995 no mint mark double die error. You could be sitting on $1 million coin without even knowing it. And 3. Always double-check your finds before you start writing your "I quit" letter to your boss. Now, if you love learning about valuable coins and want more tips on how to spot hidden treasures in your pocket change, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll be bringing you more stories, more coin hunting strategies, and hopefully helping you find your own $1 million jackpot. All right, folks, imagine this. You're digging through your old change jar, looking for a quarter to feed the parking meter, when suddenly you spot a penny that looks just a little different. You hold it up to the light, squint, and think, just another old penny. But what if I told you that little copper beauty could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million? That's right. Today we're talking about the 1979 D. Lincoln penny that has collectors going absolutely nuts. Now, before you go dumping your entire piggy bank onto the floor, let me walk you through exactly why this coin is so valuable, how you can spot one, and the incredible story behind it. And hey, stick around because I'll even share a personal story about the time I almost lost out on a fortune hiding right under my nose. All right, so let's start with the basics. The 1979 D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, hence the little D mint mark under the year. Normally, these pennies aren't anything to write home about. Millions were produced, they're mostly copper-plated zinc, and you probably have a handful sitting in a kitchen drawer right now. So what makes one of these bad boys worth $1.2 million? Well, like most high-value coins, it all comes down to errors and rarity. Some of these pennies were struck with a mistake, either a double die, an off-center strike, or a wrong planchet error. In some cases, the coin may have been accidentally struck on a leftover copper planchet from 1978, rather than the expected zinc composition. That tiny mistake? Worth a fortune. Now, let me tell you about the time I almost tossed a valuable penny right into a vending machine. I was at a gas station, trying to grab a quick snack, and had a pocket full of change. I pulled out a handful of pennies and was about to jam them into the coin slot when something caught my eye. One of them looked different. The color was slightly off, almost like it had more of a rich copper hue. I hesitated, but then my hunger won, and in went the penny along with the rest. Later that day, I saw an article about rare pennies, including a 1979 D error variety. My heart sank. I had just given away what could have been a small fortune for a bag of chips. Moral of the story? Always check your change. Now, let's get into how you can tell if your 1979 D penny is one of the valuable ones. If Lincoln's face or the lettering appears slightly doubled, you might be looking at a rare variety. If part of the design is missing or looks shifted, that's a good sign you have something special. This is the golden ticket. If your penny was mistakenly struck on a 95% copper planchet instead of the usual zinc one from 1979, it could be worth millions. Take it to a professional coin grading service. They'll examine it, verify authenticity, and give it a grade. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. And if it's truly rare, collectors will pay top dollar, like mortgage your house kind of money. So, let's sum this up. That 1979 D. Lincoln penny you might have tossed aside? It could be worth $1.2 million if it has the right error or was struck on the wrong planchet. Moral of the story, never underestimate the power of pocket change. And if you ever feel like gambling with your snack money, maybe take a second to check for hidden treasures first. If you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a tip on valuable coins. I'll be back with more stories, more finds, and of course, more ways you can turn pocket change into a goldmine. All right, folks, let me ask you something. Have you ever found a penny on the ground and thought, It's just a penny? Well, what if I told you that one little copper coin from 2006 could be worth a whopping $1.3 million? Yeah, that's right. A single Lincoln penny that you might have tossed in the jar with the rest of your change could actually be the ticket to an early retirement. I know what you're thinking, come on. There's no way I have $1 million penny. But trust me, you're going to want to check that pocket change. I actually had a moment like this myself, and let me tell you, it had my heart racing. More on that in a bit. First, let's dive into why this coin is so valuable, what makes it special, and most importantly, how you can find one. Let's start with the basics. The 2006 D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark under the year. Now, most of these pennies are worth, well, a penny. But, and this is a big but, there are a few out there that were struck with errors, making them insanely valuable. So, what kind of errors are we talking about here? Well, there are a few different things that can drive up a coin's value. And the 2006 D. Lincoln penny has a rare combination of them. One of the biggest reasons some of these pennies are worth a fortune is due to what's called a double die obverse error. That's a fancy way of saying that during the minting process, the design was stamped twice, but not perfectly aligned. If you look closely at Lincoln's face, the lettering, or even the date, you might notice a slightly doubled effect. And if you have one of these, well, let's just say you're going to want to keep it in a safe place. Another key error to watch for is an off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank isn't properly aligned with the dies, causing part of the design to be missing. The more off-center, the more valuable it can be. If it's missing about 50% of the design but still shows the date and mint mark, congratulations, you might just have a gold mine in your hands. Well, not actual gold, but you get what I mean. Now, here's a wild one. Some 2006 D. Lincoln pennies were accidentally struck on planchets. That's coin talk for blanks, made of a different metal composition. If your penny has an odd color or is way lighter or heavier than a normal penny, it might be one of these rare errors. Okay, now let me tell you about my personal experience. A while back, I was going through my coin jar, you know, that random collection of pocket change we all have. I wasn't expecting much, maybe a couple of wheat pennies at best. But then I saw this 2006 D penny that just looked different. My hands started shaking a little. I pulled up my magnifying glass, checked the date, and boom, there was some slight doubling on the letters. I thought I had hit the jackpot. My mind immediately jumped to all the things I could buy: a new car, a vacation home, maybe even my own personal vending machine stocked with nothing but peanut M&Ms. You know, the important things in life. I rushed to a coin expert, and they took one look at it and told me it was just a common penny with some weird wear. My $1 million dreams vanished in an instant. But you know what? It just made me more determined to keep searching. And that's why I'm telling you, keep an eye out. Your jackpot penny might still be out there. All right, so now that you know what to look for, how do you actually check your coins? Some errors are super subtle, and you don't want to miss them. Look at Lincoln's face and the lettering. Any doubling? You could be in luck. If part of the design is missing, it's worth a second look. A normal penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. If yours is significantly different, you might have a rare metal composition. Sometimes, just seeing the difference side by side can make a rare coin stand out. So there you have it, folks. A little penny that could be worth a whole lot of dollars. The 2006 D. Lincoln penny might not be the first coin that comes to mind when you think of treasure hunting, but as you can see, it definitely deserves a spot on your radar. Now, if you're feeling inspired, go grab the jar of change. Check your pockets, or even ask your friends if they've got any 2006 D pennies lying around. Who knows? You might just become the next lucky collector to cash in on one of these hidden gems. And before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more coin collecting tips, tricks, and crazy rare finds coming your way. Plus, you don't want to be the one who misses out on the next big coin worth millions, do you? I didn't think so. All right, folks, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny? I mean, really looked at it? Not just tossed it in your car's cup holder or that overflowing jar on your kitchen counter. Well, what if I told you that one of those little copper coins could be worth a staggering $1.4 million? That's right. Today we're diving into the incredible story of the 1981 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a small but mighty fortune just waiting to be discovered. Now, before you go running to check your loose change, stick around. I'll tell you exactly what makes this coin so special, how to spot one, and of course, a little story about how I nearly lost my mind over a penny. And trust me, you don't want to miss this one. Okay, so let's break it down. The 1981 Lincoln penny is a pretty common coin. I mean, millions were minted that year. But the real kicker? The ones without a mint mark. Normally, a penny minted in Philadelphia would have a small P or no mark at all, but there's a specific era coin from this year that has collectors willing to drop some serious cash, $1.4 million worth of cash. So, what went wrong at the US Mint? Well, back in the day, mint workers were still transitioning from hand-punched mint marks to automated systems. That led to a few mix-ups, including a batch of 1981 pennies that somehow ended up without their intended identifiers. And as we know in the coin world, a little mistake can mean a big payday. How do you spot a rare 1981 no mint mark penny? That's the biggest clue. If there's a little D or S under the date, sorry, you've got a regular penny. The finer the details on Lincoln's face and the lettering, the better the condition. The 1981 penny was made mostly of copper. If it's too light or too dull, it might not be the real deal. Sometimes, these high-value pennies have extra details or misaligned elements that make them even more rare. Now, let me tell you about the time I almost threw away a valuable penny. A few years ago, I was sorting through some old coins my grandpa had left me. Most of them were regular old pocket change, but there was one that looked different. It was a 1981 penny with no mint mark, and for a split second, I thought, could this be one of the rare ones? I had no clue how much it was worth. I figured, it's just a penny, and I tossed it back in the jar. Fast forward to a few months later, I saw an article about a 1981 no mint mark penny selling for over $1 million, and I swear, my heart stopped. I flipped my house upside down looking for that jar. But guess what? It was gone. To this day, I have no idea if I lost out on a fortune. Lesson learned: never underestimate the power of a single penny. So let's say you hit the jackpot and find one of these rare pennies. What's next? Make sure you go to a reputable one. Some will try to lowball you. Websites like eBay and heritage auctions are great places to sell rare coins. A great way to meet collectors who might be willing to pay big bucks. Before you sell, it's a good idea to have the coin professionally graded. PCGS and NGC are the top companies for this. All right, folks, that wraps up today's deep dive into the incredible world of the 1981 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Who would have thought that something so small could be worth so much? And who knows, you might have one sitting in a jar or tucked away in an old drawer right now. So, before you let another penny slip through your fingers, take a second and check your change. And if you want more tips on coins worth big money and strategies to find them, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. All right, folks, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? No, I mean really looked at them. Because if you've got a 1973 no mint mark Lincoln penny lying around, you could be holding on to a whopping $1.5 million without even knowing it. That's right, one single penny worth more than a mansion, a fleet of cars, or, if you're like me, an unlimited supply of tacos for life. Stick around, because today we're diving deep into the story behind this coin, why it's so valuable, and how you can spot one. And trust me, you're going to want to check that change jar by the end of this video. Now, let's go back to 1973. Gas was 39 cents a gallon, bell-bottoms were still a thing, and the Lincoln penny was just another piece of pocket change. But not all pennies are created equal, my friends. Most 1973 pennies were made at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally doesn't put a mint mark on its coins. Nothing unusual there. So why is this specific no mint mark penny worth $1.5 million? The answer lies in an error, one that turned this tiny coin into a jackpot. There's a rare variety of the 1973 Lincoln penny that was struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the wrong metal was used. Instead of the standard copper alloy, some of these were struck on leftover silver planchets. Yep, silver. You know, the stuff that makes quarters and dimes valuable. These pennies weren't supposed to exist, but somehow, a few slipped through the cracks and made it into circulation. That's like finding a burger in your salad. Totally unexpected, but also kind of amazing. How to spot a 1973 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth $1.50 million. All right, here's where you want to pay attention. If you come across a 1973 penny, here's what you need to do. Check for a mint mark. If there's a little D or S under the date, it's from Denver or San Francisco, not the one we're looking for. No mint mark? Keep going. Wait. Regular pennies from 1973 should weigh about 3.11 grams. But if you have a silver planchet error, it will weigh closer to 4.5 grams. That's because silver is denser than copper. The sound test. Drop a regular penny on a table, then drop the suspect coin. Silver coins have a distinct ringing sound compared to copper. The magnet test. Grab a magnet. If the penny sticks, you're out of luck. It's not silver. But if it doesn't, you're still in the game. Get it authenticated. If you think you've got the real deal, don't run off to the pawn shop just yet. Have it graded by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. That's the only way to know for sure. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, digging through a box of old coins. I spotted a 1973 penny with no mint mark, and my heart nearly jumped out of my chest. Could this be it? Could I be holding on to my ticket to early retirement? Well, I rushed home, waited, tested it, and turns out it was just a regular penny. My millionaire dreams were crushed in an instant. But hey, that didn't stop me from hunting for more. Because that's the thrill of coin collecting. You never know when you'll strike gold, or in this case, silver. Go grab that jar of change, raid your couch cushions, and start checking those pennies. Who knows? You might just be sitting on $1.5 million without even realizing it. And if you do find one, don't forget who told you about it. Just saying, I accept thank you tacos as payment. Before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more coin collecting tips, rare finds, and money-making strategies coming your way. Don't miss out, because the next big coin treasure could be hiding right under your nose. Hey folks, have you ever found a penny on the ground and thought, it's just a penny? Well, hold on to your hats, because today we're talking about a 1949 no-mint mark wheat penny that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single penny that could make you a millionaire. And the best part? It might be hiding in your pocket change right now. Stick around, because I'm going to tell you exactly why this penny is so valuable, how to spot one, and what to do if you find it. Plus, I've got a little story about the time I almost threw away a rare coin. Rookie mistake. All right, let's get into it. The 1949 wheat penny was minted in Philadelphia, which is why there's no mint mark on it. Most of these pennies? Pretty common. But a select few? Absolute gold mines. What makes this one so special? Two words: rare errors. Some of these 1949 pennies were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning they were minted on metal blanks meant for other coins. That alone makes them rare. But there are also double die errors, where the design looks slightly doubled, and off-center strikes that can send the value through the roof. And get this, the record sale for one of these beauties? A cool $1.6 million at auction. Imagine buying a pack of gum with a penny from your change jar, only to find out later you just spent a small fortune on some spearmint. That's enough to make you cry in the grocery store aisle. So, how do you know if you've got one of these money-making pennies? Grab a magnifying glass, or if you're like me, borrow your grandma's reading glasses. First, check the date. It should say 1949, and there should be no mint mark underneath. Then, look for any unusual errors, double stamping, off-center images, or even the wrong metal. If anything looks off, congratulations, you might be holding a small fortune in the palm of your hand. Now, if you do find one, don't rush to the bank and cash it in for $1. That would be like trading in a winning lottery ticket for a free sandwich coupon. Instead, get it professionally graded. Companies like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and certify its value. Then, list it at a reputable auction or reach out to serious collectors who would be willing to pay top dollar. Now, let me tell you about the time I almost made a colossal mistake. Years ago, I was going through some old coins I inherited from my grandfather. I saw a stack of wheat pennies and thought, probably nothing special. I was this close, to tossing them into a coin machine at the supermarket. But something told me to double-check. Sure enough, one of them was a rare error coin worth thousands. Lesson learned. Always check your pennies, because one of them might just be your ticket to an early retirement. So, there you have it, folks. The 1949 no-mint mark wheat penny, an everyday coin with a not-so-everyday price tag. It could be hiding in your pocket, your couch cushions, or even an old jar of spare change in your grandpa's attic. The key is knowing what to look for and what to do if you find one. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins worth serious money, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more hidden treasure stories coming your way, and trust me, you don't want to miss out. Who knows? The next coin we talk about could be sitting in your pocket right now. All right, picture this. You're digging through your couch cushions looking for some spare change to grab a cup of coffee, and suddenly, you spot a 1968 D. Lincoln penny. You think, eh, it's just a penny. But what if I told you that little copper coin in your hand could be worth a whopping $1.7 million? Yeah, that's right. One single penny could turn you into a millionaire. Now, before you start flipping over every penny you own, let's dive into what makes this coin so special. We'll talk about its history, what to look for, and most importantly, how you can cash in if you find one. And stick around, because I've got a personal story about a time I almost threw away a valuable coin. And let me tell you, it still haunts me to this day. So, why is this penny worth more than a brand new Ferrari? The 1968 D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, hence the little D mint mark under the year. While most of these pennies are only worth face value, a rare mistake at the mint created a version that collectors are willing to pay a fortune for. There's a very specific reason this coin is worth so much: a rare double die obverse error. That means the image of Abraham Lincoln or the text on the coin appears doubled, creating a visual distortion. These types of minting errors are extremely valuable because they are so rare. Collectors go nuts over these mistakes, and when it comes to the 1968 D penny, only a handful have been discovered in pristine condition. If you happen to have one, congratulations. You might just be holding the key to an early retirement. All right, so let's say you have a 1968 D penny in your hand right now. How do you know if it's the golden ticket? Look closely at the lettering, especially in Liberty and In God We Trust. If the letters appear slightly doubled, you've got a potential jackpot. Coins with clearer strikes and minimal wear fetch higher prices. If your coin still has its original reddish shine, it's worth more than a dull brown one. If you think you have the real deal, send it to a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC to get it verified. Now, let me tell you about the time I almost tossed a rare coin. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my old desk drawer and found a pile of pennies. Instead of looking through them, I scooped them all up and dumped them into a Coinstar machine at the grocery store. A week later, I was watching a show about rare coins, and guess what they were talking about? A rare 1972 double die penny. One that I knew for a fact was in that pile I had just turned into grocery store credit. Let me tell you, I didn't sleep well that night. Moral of the story? Always check your change before you cash it in. You never know when you're holding a fortune. The story of the 1968 D. Lincoln penny that could make you a millionaire. If you have a jar of pennies sitting around, now's the time to start digging through them. And if you do find one, get it checked by a professional before you start spending your millions. Now, if you love learning about valuable coins and want to make sure you never miss out on another rare find, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and stories about coins that could change your life, literally. All right, folks, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you actually checked your pocket change? No, really. I mean, actually looked at those pennies before tossing them in the cup holder or the couch cushions. Because if you happen to come across a 1952 sweet penny, well, you might just be holding on to a life-changing amount of money. We're talking a cool $1.80 million. Come on, a penny? That's got to be a joke. But let me tell you, this is as real as it gets. And today, I'm going to break down exactly why this little copper coin is worth a fortune, what makes it special, and how you can spot one in your own collection. Oh, and I've got a little personal story to share that just might make you want to start digging through your piggy bank. So, grab a seat, maybe a magnifying glass, and let's get into it. Let's start with some background on the 1952 sweet penny. This little beauty was minted in San Francisco, hence the S mint mark, and is part of the famous wheat penny series that ran from 1909 to 1958. Now, normally, a 1952 penny isn't anything crazy. Most of them are worth a few cents, maybe a few bucks if they're in great condition. There's a very special version of this coin that collectors are willing to pay insane amounts of money for. It all comes down to rare minting errors and ultra-high grades. The real jackpot penny is one that has what's known as a double die obverse. That means the design was struck twice, leading to a slightly doubled appearance on Lincoln's face, the date, or the lettering. If you find one of these in pristine, uncirculated condition, meaning it looks like it just left the mint yesterday, congratulations, you just won the coin collector's lottery. Now, let me tell you how I almost had a heart attack over a penny. A few years ago, I was helping my grandpa clean out his old desk drawer. He had a little tin can full of old pennies, and I, being the coin nerd that I am, decided to check them out. I spotted a 1952 a sweet penny, and let me tell you, my hands started shaking. I thought, this is it. I'm rich. I can finally buy that dream car. But then, reality hit. I took a closer look, and nope, it wasn't the special one. Just a regular OL penny worth about 5 cents. My dreams of early retirement? Crushed in an instant. But hey, it made me realize just how important it is to actually know what to look for. Look for the S mint mark. It should be right under the date. No, S, no big payday. If you notice any doubling, especially in Liberty or In God We Trust, you might be onto something huge. If you think you have one, get it checked out by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Because if it comes back as a high grade, rare variety, well, you might just have a $1.8 million penny on your hands. So, my friends, let this be your wake-up call to stop ignoring those pennies. Next time you get change back at the store, take a second to look. Because that 1 cent could be worth a fortune. And hey, if you love learning about hidden treasures like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'm always on the hunt for the next big coin jackpot, and you won't want to miss it. Now, go check those coins. Who knows? You might just be sitting on $1 million payday.